welcome to Movies Are Life. And today, we somehow made this happen, but even though it's almost February, we are going to talk about the best TV shows of 2025. And I'm bringing in Mark Blitch to talk about those picks. How are you doing?
Doing great. Trying to stay warm. I feel bad that we slacked a little bit, but I needed the time to finish.
Yeah. I don't think it was. I don't think we were slacking at all. But even when we initially talked after recording our movies episode, it was like, oh, there's these couple of shows that we haven't finished yet, and so we've been texting, trying to kind of figure out a time, and then Snowpocalypse came through and allowed us this time. I texted you today. I was like, hey, can you record today? And I'm glad we held off because a couple of shows I did finish and I actually did kind of adjust my ranking a little bit. So
Yeah, so did I.
yeah. But before that, I did want to touch on a little bit that because it has been a little time since we recorded our best films list, I saw a couple of your picks, and so I wanted to let you know that the other night we watched Begonia, and that was, I believe, number 3 on your list. So
Current, yes, it is still number 3. Yes.
okay. So I mean, I always love Lanthimos. I thought I still really like the film as a whole. Probably not my favorite of his. Even though everything was working with Jesse Plemons and Emma Stone, it kind of oh no! By the end I was like, God, that it was a lot of talking. It almost kind of felt like an expanded Twilight Zone episode of me a little bit. But anyway, and Whitney watched it with me, and she hasn't seen a lot of his films, and she was actually like into it a lot, but the ending lost her.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's I've had some friends who I wouldn't think would like it ended up really liking it, and I think it's just how quickly do you buy into the premise, how much you buy into the world, and then just I appreciate single location kind of stuff like that.
Oh
And
yeah,
then,
yeah.
yeah, love I so much, and I kind of felt like, man, this is his year. We've come to find out it is not his year.
I know.
When it
Yeah,
comes to Oscar noms, but that's okay. That's okay.
yeah.
It's okay. I don't blame you too much.
Yeah, he was excellent in it. The other two films, actually, Whitney watched both of these as well, and she loved them. But we watched F1, which just, and this sounds like I'm degrading it by saying this, but just a really great sports film. And I'm really not. I think even the genre has existed for such a long time now. It's hard to kind of provide something fresh, and we really enjoyed that a lot. And then she would probably say, I haven't quizzed her on this, but probably one of her top movies of the year. We watched Roof Man together, and she loved Roof Man.
It's so good. It's darker than the trailers,
Oh yeah,
presented as. It's a lot more serious.
yeah, it is. And I've been encouraging. It's kind of the movie that I've been, even though it wouldn't have made my top 10 still, it's still when people, we've gotten a lot of texts these last couple of days of like, what movies should we be watching? And I've been recommending Roof Man because it's just like, especially for the couples that we know, it's like, oh yeah, it appeals to different audiences for sure.
Yeah, that's funny. So none of the 3 that you watched cracked your top 10 that were in my top 10. Okay, that's fine. I guess my taste is just a little bit less refined than yours. I tell you what, I finally watched Marty Supreme,
Oh, okay. Yes.
and that made my top 5. So that made it
Okay.
as number
Yeah.
5 for me. I know, I don't think it did for you. And then I haven't placed it yet, but we watched Rental Family,
Yeah.
and with Brendan Fraser. And I tell you what, it very well may make the top 10 based on, it's just one that you can recommend to pretty much anybody.
Yeah.
And it's such a one of the more emotionally earnest movies I think I've not ever seen, that I've seen recently.
Yeah. I wanted to check that out, and it's still just for rental, right? It's not
Yeah.
streaming
Well, you
anywhere.
can
Okay.
buy it, but yeah, you
Yeah.
can. It's not streaming yet, but it's so wholesome and affirming and refreshing.
So yeah, primarily with this podcast and with my reviews, I always cover movies. That's my main focus. But both of us, I think we consume a lot of television, like many other people in this world. And
Yes.
so I always like to kind of, touch on it because I always think there's some great shows out there that are worth talking about. So, kind of overall for 2025, did you have a pulse on how you felt about television entertainment?
Like, just overall as a year?
Yeah.
I it was weird. I watched 24, seasons of new television
Okay.
from 2025, and I don't think I hated one. I
Yeah.
may have been disappointed by some, but I didn't, like, outright hate it. There are 3 kinda all-timers for me this year, and then there's kind of, like, the rest, if
Okay.
that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. No, I totally
Yeah.
get it. Yeah, kind of the same for me. I probably really liked the things that I really liked, but there's kind of analyzing some of the stuff that we watched. There was. You're right. Like my top ones, I think are like pure standouts for sure. But some of, oh no, everything's kind of getting saturated and kind of blending
It is,
into
man.
each other a little bit. So yeah.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Yeah, so, with that said, what is your number 10?
Number 10, is Dexter Resurrection season 1.
Okay.
Huge Dexter fan. I have the prequel series a little bit lower on my list, but it was just a nice return to form. It's definitely not prestige TV anymore. It kinda knows what it is. It's kind of junk food, but the acting is so good, and they kind of fix a lot of things that the series has done wrong. And Peter Dinklage is in it, Uma Thurman is in it, Eric Stone Street, Neil Patrick Harris, Kristen Ritter. Like, it's a kind of a murderer's row of like genre TV people, and they just elevated it to back to some of the good Dexter seasons were, as
Yeah.
opposed to kind of how it petered out towards the
Yeah.
last few.
Yeah. Never got into the Dexter universe, but I know the people that did, were high on this, season, and it just
Yeah, yeah,
really love that show a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, alright, so, yeah, and I figure kind of maybe with our list, it's like we kinda talked about, there are so many shows out there. I don't know how much crossover we'll have really because there's just so many things to pick from, and with our limited time and especially as many movies as we watch, you kinda have to be, a little bit more selective sometimes, so, but
Yeah,
mine
if
yeah.
I had to guess, by the way, I think we're gonna have 4. I'm gonna go bold and say that we have 4
Oh,
crossovers.
okay, okay. Well, yeah, we'll see how we do at the end of this. Yeah, my number 10 was the White Lotus season 3. Probably one of the most memed television shows of 2025. This is this popular series created by Mike White, and basically follow those privileged people in a resort at a remote location, and there is just a lot of there's always a murder, and you're kind of working backwards trying to figure out who did it, how it happened. But he's always Mike White touches on things about wealth and spirituality and
Yeah.
moral decay and all these things, and so I don't uh, probably if I step back, uh, man, I'd probably say it's maybe not my favorite of the 3 seasons, but still, it's one of those shows, even when it's not clicking, quite like you think it should, it's still, to me, a little bit better than most everything out there, and the ensemble cast, was amazing. It just was like, if anything, it was a show that we actually watched pretty much in real time. It came out week to week, and I really enjoyed the discourse after an episode was done, and it was a show that Whitney and I enjoyed watching together, sibling incest and all. So that's my number number 10.
Yeah.
Uh, so,
Yeah,
yeah,
it definitely cracked my it was up there for a while for me. That's so weird. It probably was in my top 10 when I first did my first pass, and then I almost just vibe it out, and then I'll swap stuff out if I need to. But yeah,
yeah,
I really did enjoy it, especially Goggins.
yes,
I've always loved Goggins, and Jason Isaacs and Parker Posey. I thought were all
yeah,
great.
yeah, and it probably we didn't do we didn't do superlatives here, but, probably one of the most memorable scenes of the year between Goggins and Sam Rockwell, is a scene in a bar, and
Oh god.
it was amazing. So, yeah. What was your number 9?
Number 9, I have The Bear season 4,
Okay,
and definitely a legacy pick. I've always enjoyed The Bear. I think this is actually more of a damning spot than, like, high praise, is that there are moments that it it's just reaffirms, like, man, this is just fantastic character work, fantastic, um, writing and performances, and then, like, the finale is like this not one shot, single location thing that kind of feels like this doesn't need to be the finale episode. Like, it kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. Where it got, I was okay with, but I didn't like how it got there and the placement in the season, if that
okay.
makes sense. And so so it's a little bit more like there's still some really great stuff in there for me, but it just hasn't quite starting to spin his wheels a bit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny that you said that. I've watched all 3 seasons of The Bear, always have loved it. I just, and even you talking, I'm like, I probably should start the 4th season. I never could talk myself into starting it.
Yeah.
So, you kinda know what you're gonna be getting yourself into, and, but I trust all the filmmakers behind it, and, well, I don't know if you say filmmakers. Anyway, all the creative force behind it, but, yeah, there's something, I don't know, that's just preventing me from doing that, but, I probably should. I honestly think it was a show that should be released week to week, and I think that's part of it is, like, especially that show that is, like, really so full. There's a lot to, learn from it, and I mean, thematically, it's amazing, and the way they just drop them all at once, it kinda seems a little daunting, for me,
Yes.
so, yeah, but, my number 9 is actually a legacy pick as well, and it's the Righteous Gemstones season 4. This season, it was its final season, created by Danny McBride, and basically follows some televangelists in North Carolina. And I've talked about the show before in other podcasts, but it's one of those shows. It's so funny, and I was surprised it made it to season 4, honestly, because I don't think I've ever run into other people who had watched it. But it's so satirical, so outlandish, and even with you could tell kind of go into this season, last season, they definitely were seeing it as that because it maybe wasn't quite as rich as maybe some of the other seasons because they knew they were closing things up, but they didn't care for sure. Anyway, it was just always a show that I just knew I was gonna laugh every time. And even though Whitney didn't watch it with me, there would always be a scene or something. I'm like, just watch this scene. It's hilarious. So that's my number 9.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
right next to White Lotus in my top
Yeah.
24 list, wherever I had it, and because I actually I cranked through because I hadn't watched Gemstones until this past year, so I really binge watched it at
Oh
lunch
yeah.
with a friend of
Yeah.
mine, and so really good. I didn't know if I loved it more than other seasons. That might
Yeah.
be why I didn't put it in the top 10, but
Yeah.
it's pretty shocking because we went on a Danny McBride kick where we did Eastbound and Down,
Okay.
then we skipped to Gemstones, and now we're watching Vice Principals, and
Yeah.
it's pretty interesting to, um is it Janet? Is that her
Oh.
name? The daughter? Who's the daughter? Janice? No.
And
Who's the daughter in Gemstones?
oh gosh, I don't know off the top of my head, but
This is very damning for you that you can't name the characters
yeah, I
in one of your
know, I
favorite
know,
shows.
I know. Limited brain space, you know.
No, you gotta no, I get it, but I think she's fantastic. Like,
Y- oh,
any line
yeah,
that she speaks is just
yeah.
and even her
Judy.
husband, Judy,
Yeah.
Judy, I had the J right. No, she's fantastic, and her husband, fantastic, the monkeys, fantastic. Like, there's just so many great things about that show that
Oh,
but I can't recommend it to a lot of people because either they're
right.
gonna get butthurt about the religious stuff, even though that show's really good at really critiquing the mega church televangelists. I didn't
Uh-huh.
feel like the entire Christian faith was not being slammed. Like, McBride was kinda knew
Yeah.
knew what to attack and what not to. So it
Yeah,
felt like, yeah, most people can agree that these people are terrible people. But you know what? And there's something I've learned with McBride, and I'm sorry that we're getting on a diatribe about McBride. I have noticed that he is very good at being just despicable, but it all feels very reactive and coming from a place of hurt and of pain,
yeah,
as opposed to him just being a terrible character. And so
right.
that's one thing that I've been able to, outside of Eastbound and Down, he's just terrible. Um, I've been very impressed with one, his evolution as a storyteller, going from kind of irreverence and then tackling televangelists and doing a pretty great job at that too. That first episode, if you had told me that first episode with Bradley Cooper was directed by McBride, I'd be like, you're lying.
Right.
There's no way.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I have high praise for Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah, people would probably argue with me against this. I actually think the show, uh, I might be wrong, but I feel like it's actually probably made by Christians, and so people might argue with me about that. But like you said, it's never really it's not making
It's
fun
not
fun.
anti. It's not anti.
No, no, it's not anti. It's making fun of the people that have corrupted the system.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, if the concept of a film starring Walter Goggins playing Teen Jus, the teenager Jesus, makes you laugh, I mean, I think there you have it. If you're turned off by that, even that sentence, don't check it out. So, what's your
Dangerous.
yeah,
Dangerous.
Tinges. What's your number 8?
Number 8, Nobody Wants This, season 2. Um,
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
is
good
that
one.
not is that not 2025? I think that
No,
is.
no, it is. I just when he's gonna kill me, I just didn't account for it. So,
And it's interesting because we started, it was one of the first shows that we watched this year. So we installed a movie room kind of upstairs and we cranked through the first season and then we just cranked through the second season and again, it's not, it's kind of still junk food, but it just coasts on the chemistry of pretty much the entire cast, like everyone. And I think Kristen Bell's great. Adam Brody is just, it's just such a perfect role for him and he's so likable. And it also like it, I think it paints, it has, it just, it treats, you know, um, the Jewish faith with it has an interesting brush to it because it's like critical of some of the, maybe some of the stubborn practices and the hypocrisy of like old parents and kind of what they see as right and wrong, but it's just such a fascinating look at like modern Judaism that I never really
yeah.
thought about. And man, it's kind of like with Danny McBride, like any type of thing that's like that Kristen Bell says that's kind of pointed, you can tell there's a little bit of hurt under there.
Uh-huh.
And it's just really good, like snuggle up on the couch, by a fire and watch it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Yeah, this was one that just I don't know why I didn't count for it, but yeah, we love watching that show, and that's one, like the bear, drops all its episodes at once, and we kind of intentionally try to kind of spread that out because we know we were going to be sad when it was over, and so yeah, it's
Yeah.
just the genre that it is, just hits us in the right place. We just love the genre that it's tackling, and yeah, amazing cast. It's a lot of fun hanging out with these people. So my number 8 is a new show that is actually, I think I'm counting as 2025 because it started in 2025. It's actually still going on, but it's on NBC or Peacock. But it's Stumble, which is a mockumentary about a hyper competitive world of junior college cheerleading. Have you checked this show out?
I have not.
Yeah. So, and at this point, this kind of mockumentary style has been, I don't overdone done is probably a correct word for it. And so, and it's not trying to be super different with the style, but it is just really funny. The star Jen Lyon, she's a terrific comedic actress, and her husband in the show, Taron Killam, he's from Saturday Night Live fame. He's excellent as well. But the show is just funny. It's just and Kristen Chenoweth is kind of a producer. She pops up sometimes and stills a scene many times in it, but in one particular involving the national anthem. And anyway, just a great. It's just a show we've loved watching as a family, and half hour episodes really fast, and so Hallie is always going, is there a new stumble out? So it's currently, so new episodes are still kind of coming out. So anyway, it had to make my list because it genuinely just makes us laugh. So yeah,
Man,
Stumble's number 8.
I have seen her somewhere.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe maybe I've seen her in like, I did start Sirens, I didn't finish it. I started a little bit of English Teacher, but I had never finished it. Man, I wonder where I really where I'm having, like, a anyway,
yeah, yeah.
neither here nor there, but no.
She's definitely one of those, like, you're like, oh, I feel like I've seen her before. And this show shows it's like, oh my gosh, like, why hasn't she been carrying a show before this?
Yeah,
Like, she's really funny in it. And so we
yeah.
like it a lot. So yeah, what's your number 7?
Number 7 is The Chair Company.
Hey, that's what my number 7.
Yay! Yay, good. So,
So
yeah, I had a feeling that
synergy
was
there.
gonna be one. I was gonna say that that was gonna be one of our shared, based on your love of friendship, and I just there's so much about that show where it's just hard to put into words, and but it's exactly what it's advertised as, which is a
Yeah.
Tim Robinson conspiracy theorist show,
Right, right.
and it's so much fun and so funny. Again, can't really recommend it to anyone unless I know that they're Tim Robinson fans or are even remotely familiar, with him, but man, it's just you can describe any scene out of that show and you would sound insane for
Yes.
describing it because it's you can't out of context, even with context, there's really a not. It's so singular, and I was tempted to put it up a little bit higher, but there's enough stuff that I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I can put Share Company higher than than where I have it. I feel like it's in
Yeah,
a perfect
yeah.
spot.
Yeah, if it started out higher for me on my list, and as it went, I kinda just I kinda struggled with it a little bit, not because I didn't enjoy it, but maybe by its quote unquote "brilliance," and I was trying to figure out why that was the case. And, I think I pinpointed it at that, we are with Tim Robinson the whole time during the show, really. Like, we
Yeah,
never jump to other characters. And many TV shows, eventually you follow like sub characters, and so it's
yeah,
kind of relentless in that way that we are with him all the time, and
all the time.
he always plays characters that are get on your nerves, but in a funny way. And so and I think that's kind of hit me like, oh yeah, that's maybe why it's not higher, because it, it, it's 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 a tough hang for a while. It's just kind of like, because I think every episode has a moment that sticks out as just
Yeah.
pure brilliance. But it's a little taxing, but I mean it's worth it if you like the humor at all. And I mean, once again, there's just several scenes that always stick out in my head. So I love his talk with his son about his new passion that he wants to ditch basketball.
Stop motion animation. Oh,
Ru-
man.
Ru- Rudolph.
Rudolph? Like old there's so much, and it's hard to even quote sometimes because you
Yeah,
really it doesn't always stick with me, but, like, it reminds me a lot of I Think You Should Leave, and that there are some that are you kinda have to get through the ones that aren't great to get to the
yeah,
great ones,
yes,
and
yeah,
but there's something charming about the misses, if that
yeah.
makes sense. There's
Oh
something
yeah,
charming about 'cause I'm a big, like, supporter for just taking big swings, even if you whiff. There's just something
yeah,
interesting about not being afraid to fail, and that show is not afraid of anything, and so,
yeah.
no, I'm glad you have it too.
Yeah, yeah. So, I have to touch on one scene. I just showed it to Whitney, even though she didn't watch the show with me. But when he is basically trying to lose his coworker in a car as they're going to that like PR stunt, like, newscast, and he's trying to lose her, and she basically almost gets killed. I mean, that whole scene, and he's like, "Ooh," like, because his intention is not to get her killed, but, yeah, it's so funny, but, okay, so what's your number 6?
6 is my phone fell asleep. I said Severance season 2.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, that was 2025.
Okay. See, that's the thing. And this is what drives me crazy. And again, that's almost a knock on Severance as well in a way because it's so well done and it's so dense and it's not something it's so brainy, almost too good for almost too much for its own good. Um 'Cause I think I had that maybe at number 1 or 2 or 3 when in its first season, but the distance between seasons, like, I really don't remember I didn't
Yeah,
remember a whole lot going into season 2, so a lot of it, I'm having to just remember I didn't wanna rewatch it all too, and it's like, it's so well done, performances are great, the mystery to me is fine, but it's starting to kind of lose its mystique a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah,
And it's still, it's one of those things where that and my number 5 are kind of like soulmates a little bit, but there's a monotony to it that is intentional and you're supposed to feel it, but it also loses a lot of steam. And
yeah,
so, but then when they're great, and they're some of the best TV of the year. But I think I'm less interested in the mystery, more interested in the characters, and some of the ways like there's a did you watch season 2?
yeah, I did.
Yeah, and so, like, my favorite part is whenever, Outie Mark and Inner Mark or Any Mark
Yeah,
are talking to each other through the
yeah,
cameras,
great
like,
scene.
that I thought was great. It was like but I kind of feel like most of the interesting stuff was exploring that gimmick, for lack of better words,
Uh-huh.
that mechanism in different ways. So I thought all the stuff um was it Dylan? See, like, that's the thing, is the names just don't stick like they should. The big dude who had his wife
Yeah,
kinda have an affair with him with the any version of him, and, like, I thought all that stuff was masterfully done, and I thought the idea of, like, does an any have a soul and an outie have a soul? All the stuff was all the character stuff was great. It's just and Milchick was fantastic this season too, but I also just I couldn't break down the episodes for you like I could. Like, I rewatched
yeah.
Breaking Bad this past year, and I have such a specific memory of different scenes, and I know everybody, and it's a world that I love and I'm invested in. Where Severance, I don't know if I could tell you everyone's name.
Right, 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 yeah. No, I get that. Yeah, we watched it as well. It was super high on the first season. Um, thought the second season started strong, but then it was one that Whitney watched and with me, and it just lost her like completely. And then, uh, and you talked about that one scene. There's once again moments of like brilliance and stuff, but then there's one episode that's all about Cobell's like backstory or whatever,
I
and
just
I
don't
just thought
care.
it was just a waste of time. And so even I was kind of like, oh, but then the last episode, I mean, the first season and the second season, I mean, they know how to make a finale of a season because
Yeah, it's
I was
great.
like, oh man, this is like, yeah, this is it. But yeah, some of the mystery stuff is I'm starting not to care as much. But yeah, that's kind of why I didn't make my list. Really great moments, but when you have a whole episode that you could just skip, I think that kind of is a big hit on it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, my number 6 is Task. Did you watch that show?
No, and everyone tells me to, and I
Uh,
meant to do it on my flight, my international flight, but I
yeah.
did not wanna sit that seemed like a miserable plane series.
Yeah, yeah, I can see it. It's definitely sad. It's produced
Yeah,
by Brad Inglesby, who famously did Mayor of Easton with Kate Winslet, and so Mark Ruffalo stars in this one. He's in charge of a FBI task force, but he used to be a priest, and so it's also kind of another deep personal character study about faith in lots of ways, but it's also very much a crime series, for
yeah,
sure. And so, once again, another show that like, Tom Pelphrey's in it, who is amazing. He was in Ozark, but I mean, dude, like his performance is amazing in it. And yeah, we just thought it was a wonderful show. It too kind of gets into some crime plotty type of stuff that's like, huh, that doesn't make sense. It's like that person made it to point A to point B pretty fast, and things like that.
Yeah.
But overall, like this mixture of just a crime story, but also a lot of deeper themes in there. And I heard it's like coming back for a season 2, which I'm actually a little sad about because I thought the first season ended just perfect. But anyway, Inglesby, so far, I mean, he's 2 for 2 on these series that he's produced, so, I don't doubt that it won't be good, but that's my number 6. So,
Mhm.
okay, what's your number 5?
Oh, man, I'm starting to realize I probably just need to relabel some of these because the more I talk about some of these, I'm like, man, why do I even have these in my top 10? So I have number 5 as Pluribus.
That was my number 5.
Hey, so we're 2, we're 2.
Yeah,
Okay, that's great.
yeah,
All right, told you, we're gonna get 4. So, yeah, and again, like, Vince Gilligan deserves every bit of benefit of the doubt for me. I think he's one of the best world creators of all time. I think Breaking Bad is in my top 2 of shows of all time, and the pilot was so good for this, and one of the best pilots I've ever seen. And then so I understand why they've released 1 and 2 at the same time because 2 is definitely more indicative of the tone that you're gonna get throughout. And so the reason it's not higher for me is because of the monotony that's intentional, that's very much, you really only have 1, 2 characters for the majority of it.
uh-huh,
And Reese Horn is fantastic. She deserves every award she wins. Um but it was a little bit of a come down from episode 1 to go to
yeah,
episode 2, and again, it all just feels very much like, oh, these conversations that she's having with the joined, or however they're called, is basically my relationship with ChatGPT whenever I'm, doing, like, research or something. There's a very forced formality and kindness there that, it's very obvious how Gilligan feels about AI. And so, but the stuff that I found most interesting was always whenever she needed it, or whenever she missed it, or she missed a human connection, or you meet the guy from Paraguay and he's so stubborn. Um, I never have to hear that voicemail message again in my life whenever
yeah,
they leave,
yeah,
and because it's just, and again, it's all intentional, and I think it's actually to the detriment of the show a little bit for me, where it's like, I'm gonna give you a lot of grace because it's so well done, but there's a reason why you're gonna lose a lot of people. It's such a slow burn, and I liked where it ended. I thought it ended well. I actually watched episode 9 thinking I had 10 left, and then I realized there wasn't a 10th, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's the finale." So I think it would be higher for me, because if it feels like I was just reading a book, and I don't really like reading. But I just can't put it lower on
yeah,
my list just because of the respect I have for Gilligan, and seeing where it goes. 'Cause I don't think the first season of Breaking Bad's the best season. I don't think that, season 1 of Better Call Saul is the best either. So he gets 2 seasons from me no matter
yeah,
what.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I really don't have much more to say. You kinda
Say
you
it.
kinda hit
It's your
no,
podcast.
no, you hit on everything that I feel about it, but it's still and I know several people it did lose, for
Yeah.
sure.
I
And
can't blame him. I
but
can't blame him either.
No, I can't blame them either, but, I heard somewhere, someone said that, like, Vince Gilligan is just amazing at, displaying processes in his
Yeah.
shows, and that really hit home to me about I mean, this show is just, like, just showing how things get done, and so I was making fun of Task about, you're not sure how point A got to point B. Well, in Pluribus, they definitely will show you how point A got to point B. So that will either work for you or it won't. But I still, yeah, I still, but even though I thought originally, like, especially the first 2 episodes, I was like, oh man, this is like the best show of the
Yeah.
year, but still, like you said, see where it's going. But also, I marvel at just what they're doing in the show, and it's still a lot better than a lot of things out there. So yeah, I dig it. So yeah,
Yeah. It's
but
it's
not for
singular.
everyone. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's singular. But
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of times, the cynic in me is like, "Okay, Vince, you have a 30-minute script here, but you're gonna make it 50 minutes
Yeah,
by just
yeah.
just showing them restock an entire Sprouts." You
Right,
know?
right, yeah,
So,
yeah.
uh,
But definitely for you, I'm sure the, film guy, just the thinking how they actually pulled that off is, kinda fascinating to think about.
it is,
Yeah.
and it's almost like Wes Anderson-esque where it's like the painstaking detail of it all just stresses me out.
Yeah. What's your number 4?
It feels so wrong to put this over Pluribus because that's very kind of high, highbrow. Is highbrow like intellectual or is that no,
Yeah,
highbrow would be more intellectual.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just remember lowbrow.
yeah,
So
yeah.
number 4 is more lowbrow and it's Stranger Things 5.
Okay.
Um,
Uh, uh,
so
don't spoil too much because I
I
haven't
won't.
watched it yet. Okay.
You haven't watched any of it?
Yes, Hallie is playing catch up, and we're kinda playing catch up with her as
Okay.
well, and so we're in season 4 right now, so
Okay. So I'll spoiler free. Um, my 13-year-old became obsessed with Stranger Things. Um, my 13-year-old maybe 4 or 5 months ago. And so we started rewatching it with him. He was never really ready. And so we were able to kind of watch it with him. He thought it was going to be too scary for himself, but he ended up just loving it. Now he has Stranger Things bed sheets. And now so it became a very like communal family thing for us where okay, we're gonna go. I think season 4 is brilliant. And while I don't think season 5 hits the highs of 4, um, it feels kind of victory lapish in a way, but there's so many great just that they understand pacing, exposition, even if it's a little bit this is the big thing for me is before the season even started, I kinda told myself, "This is kind of a young adult novel. This is
mhm,
young
yeah,
adult. I can't expect this to be Breaking Bad. I can't expect it to be Game of Thrones. This is gonna be popcorn, young adult entertainment." And 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 it was, and so it met my expectations in that sense. And so I liked, pretty much so I can't be objective with it really because of kind of what it meant to our family during that time where we were just like we were all gathering around the TV and watching as much as we could.
yeah,
And then we're able to go to the finale in the theater, on New Year's Day, and we're able to experience it with a big crowd. And so just kind of that it works more as a core memory for our family
yeah,
than just the best of TV. But the last scene is so well done that it kinda reminds you why you love the show to
yeah.
begin with.
Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. Can't wait to get to it. But yeah, she was so young when it originally came out. She was too young to watch it. But now it's like it's her sweet spot. And so she's
Yeah,
Hallie's enjoyed watching it. So, my number 4 is English Teacher, the second season. I believe
okay.
English Teacher season 1 made my list last year. Just a great workplace comedy. It's created by Brian Jordan Alvarez. But I do want to front with so it was canceled after the
Yeah,
second season, and it's basically there's allegations that were made against Alvarez, and
yeah.
I kind of tried to do some digging on it. It's all very sus, I guess is the best word to use for it, or whatever like that. And so I just want to front with like it seems to be kind of a lot of like he said type of thing. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
anyway, so I know sometimes that gets complicated when, do you separate the artist from the art and all that sort of stuff. In my case, the show I just think is hilarious and very funny. All the episodes you were talking about, I forgot which, but you were a little Severance where it was a little harder to remember what episodes are which. And
Yeah.
this season, every episode, and they intentionally do it. I mean, it definitely has a theme. All the episodes are super memorable, a great cast. And once again, another like half hour, like breezy type of show. And it actually, I think got better than the first season, just from the writing and stuff. So anyway, for whatever happened, shame all around for, um, usually when there's smoke, there's fire. So anyway, it's kind of
Yeah.
a shame because I really think this could have been something, but it's not. But that's fine too. So because it's a comedic TV show. So, but yeah. So there you go.
Okay. No, I
Yeah.
watched the first season and I really enjoyed it. Never got to the second season, but there's some of the I like in my algorithm the bit with the asymptomatic Tourette's always pops up in my feed. And I it's pretty great. It's and then the
Yeah.
coach is fantastic too. I think
Yes.
the coach is
Yeah.
probably my favorite character in that
Yeah,
show.
yeah, and and they even, like, in the second season, I think, even make him even more human, but, I mean, definitely the show is, left-sided in the way that it's thinking. I don't wanna pretend that it's not, but it actually has some really good
Yeah.
conversations, around, like, gun control, and it really gives voice to both sides a lot, but they frame it in
Yeah.
very comedic ways, and
Yeah.
actually, especially as someone who, leans more to the left thinking, it actually kinda challenges you of, like, why you think that way because sometimes some of the things are just stupid and silly, really. So,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
no, and that's kinda how I am too. It's like I'm probably kinda more like left central. But I remember noticing in the first season, I'm like, "This is pretty well rounded in terms of on what it's critiquing." Like, it definitely has its views, but it also isn't afraid to tease or make fun of or, and so I was grateful that it didn't seem preachy.
Right. Yeah.
Some
Correct.
parts did, but, like, I can see how people who are more right-leaning would think it's preachy
Yeah.
and however, but I never really got that it was that way.
No, and a lot of times, I don't think it's preachy because a lot of times he was, even though he didn't change his way of thinking, he definitely changed the way he thought about it, and he was
Yeah.
always challenged about his little missions that he goes on and stuff, and so that's what I enjoyed about it. So, okay, so we're here in the top three. So, what's your number three?
Number 3, this is my horror entry,
Okay.
for the list, and it's Alien Earth.
Oh, okay.
And I am big Alien fan, and it adds a lot of really interesting wrinkles, and it's Noah Hawley who did, like, Fargo
Yeah.
and Legion, and he's just a really visually interesting person to where I'm thinking, "Man, how is he gonna fit in this world, in an established world that is very singular visually?" And so, like, how is he gonna make things interesting in his way? And he does a fantastic job. There's a character in there, and his name's Kid Cavalier, and he's kind of like a billionaire, trillionaire, and he's just your classic narcissist. And what's I don't know how much you know of it or how much you even like the series as a whole. Do you know
I,
anything?
uh, I mean, I've seen the first two Alien movies. That's about it. So,
That's about it. Well, what's interesting is that they take these terminal children and put them into the bodies of adult synthetics. And
okay.
so and it's all framed around Peter Pan and the Lost Boys, and so your main character is Wendy, and this billion trillionaire is kinda like the Peter Pan, whatever, but they're able to make all these the acting is so great because 'cause they're all acting like children,
Yeah.
and so some of the dumb decisions that they make are made because they're children.
Yeah.
And then there's some new monsters that they bring in that are just horrific, and so it really scratches that itch for me, but me and my son and my wife, like, we all loved it, and, excited to see where it goes. Timothy Oliphant's great. Um, the main girl, I think her name is Maggie Chandler. It's Kyle Chandler's daughter. She
Oh, okay.
plays the lead, and it's just it was a surprise to me because I was nervous. As a big Alien fan, I was a bit nervous that it would, kinda water it down.
My what?
It's just I know it's not your thing. So thank you for saying it's
No,
great.
no, 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 I think I heard lots of good things, and, I love, the creators, like, I love Fargo, like, it's a great
Yeah.
show, and it was actually one I kinda, was considering kinda watching, but just because I'm not as tied into the lore of it all, I just was kinda like, "Ah, but, probably not," but, I
Are
heard
you not like a horror icky kinda person?
yeah, there's gotta be kinda something to it for me to really want to dive into it, but it's also kinda hard with something like that because even if it's something that can stand on its own, it always feels like there's so much, like, lore tied into it, that it's like I mean, we kinda talked about this a little bit with the Predator series, it's
Yeah.
like, it's kinda like, I don't know if I don't know if there's because you can't help but feel like having some backstory on it all would help you along the way, and
Well,
because
that's the
there's
good
so
thing.
yeah, yeah,
This all takes place before the first one, so
yeah,
it is the
yeah,
backstory.
yeah, but then you have to watch all the other things after,
No,
so
you
yeah.
don't. It's completely disconnected, but no, it's
Yeah.
fine. It's fine.
Yeah. So, well, number 3 for me is, uh, definitely a Nathan pick. You can't truly see because of the mic but I have a Dallas Cowboys
Okay.
sweatshirt on. So, yeah, number 3 for me is, America's Team, The Gambler and His Cowboys. It's a Netflix series, a sports documentary series, really focusing mainly on the 1990s Cowboys and how successful, they were, but really it's also kinda unpacking Jerry Jones as well. So I don't think I would put this up here quite up there as The Last Dance about the Chicago Bulls, but I mean, this was like in both good and bad ways, man, just kind of there's a little after all the Super Bowls, they kind of quickly go through this montage of what all the seasons have been like post Super Bowls, and it kind of gave me like some trauma a little bit reliving all these moments and stuff, but overall, I mean, I thought the series was wonderful, and honestly, during that time, I was a teenager, early teens and stuff, so it's pretty much I'm just watching if they win or lose, and I knew like some of the backstories, but there were a lot of things that I didn't know about. I thought, especially them talking about Barry Switzer's era was real fascinating, and kind of focusing that lens there and stuff. But Troy Aikman's great in it. Michael Irvin, as always, is kind of steals the show in a lot of ways. And it's also I think an interesting look, just not just like Jerry Jones, but just kind of that 1% that's out there and their framework of thinking about things. I think is also a stand-in for how a lot of corporations are ruling America right now. And so anyway, so I don't know if you don't like sports or football, like how much it's really in the weeds of these things. But I mean, it's a pretty fascinating watch. So that's my number 3.
Man, I never finished it. Like, I got 4 episodes in, and I was
Yeah,
on an, international trip, and I loved it, and I loved it, and I just never got back to it, but
yeah,
it's not like I'm waiting for Jerry Jones to die. That would be really cruel to say.
yeah,
But there is an element where it's like, as a Cowboys fan, diehard as well, like, the Patriots have been, they rebuilt for, like, 2 years, and now they're back in the Super Bowl,
yeah, yep,
and we just can't
nope,
seem to figure it out, what needs to be done. So, maybe that's why I didn't finish it, because I'm like, "I'm
yeah,
tired of living in the glory days. I'm ready
right.
to do what needs to be done to get back there," but we won't do it.
Nope. So, what's your number 2?
My number 2, and so these are, I would say this is the start of my I think these next 2 are all-timers for me, and my number 2 is The Studio.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. So
Okay,
before you talk about it, I'll just tell you where I came about it. It hasn't made my list because one, I haven't finished it,
okay.
and I and I don't know what it is about it. I just like because I think it's extremely well made. I do think it's funny, but there's just something that just I just haven't been able to grasp onto it. It's kind of like I quickly like I know what it's doing, and I kind of maybe not because there are surprises, but because each episode's trying to do something a little different, but I just kind of know what I'm gonna get, and that frantic energy. It's a lot to kind of almost similar to the bear of like, okay, I know
Yeah.
what I'm getting into, and once it's over, like I'm satisfied that by the experience. But yeah, for some reason, I just haven't finished it yet. So
You need to, man. Like, it's it dances a line between kind of being in love with Hollywood, but also realizing what's wrong with it. And so there's an element of like, man, there's a lot of reverence to what came before. There's a lot of reverence to the magic that movies can create, but there's also stuck behind the bureaucracy and the bottom line and stuff. And there's so many episodes. I don't know how many you're in, but it's hard to binge watch because each episode you're like, why is Seth Rogen making all these poor decisions? And I'm just living with the stress. There's one episode where um he's dating this doctor, and they go to this fundraiser,
Yeah,
and
I
all
saw
the
that
doc
one.
you saw that one, and he's just
Yeah.
talking about a diarrhea zombie movie and how important that is, and
Right.
how and there's just I just love "Oh, this is important," kind of the critique on, like but also, like, yeah, when you're in a hospital, what are you doing? You're probably watching TV. And then there's the Golden Globes episode, which is great, and then there's the one where they accidentally dose everyone with mushrooms, and it's just that they have to put on this CinemaCon presentation, and they have to, like it's just chaos, but it's so well done, and it's such a maturation for me for Seth Rogen. Like, there's still some juvenile stuff in there, but it's like he gets it now. Like, he's settled into this role where he's still juvenile, but there's a maturation there to want not everything are dick and pot jokes, and still there,
Yeah.
but there's and it's so interesting to see his trajectory versus, other people kind of his same I'm a big fan of Shrinking, so I think Jason Segel and him are is it Segel or Segal? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but it's so interesting to see them all kinda come from the same place, from the Judd Apatow School of Comedy to kinda where they're at now, and to me, it was just an all-timer for me. I think performance-wise, I thought, trying to frame the Kool-Aid movie as
Yeah.
important as Barbie and whether or not you have to cast and if you can't have all the Kool-Aid people be black, but you can't also make all the other people like so just like
Yeah.
the all the elements of like, man, there are executives that have to think of these decisions. And so to be able to do that, but also do it in kind of an absurd way, I think is really difficult.
Yeah.
And so it didn't take long. Once its hooks are in me, there's
Yeah.
no coming back.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I can't argue with people that that's just kind of been my experience with it. It's just like I actually, I mean, I revere it a lot for like what it is and stuff, but it's kind of just it's hard for me sometimes. I guess especially if I want to calm down for the night and watch something.
Sure.
It's something that kind of ramps up the volume quite a bit.
And
So
and and that's it, isn't it? Like because there are a lot of shows that I didn't watch. Like other like again, we've only have 2 of the same on here so
yeah,
far,
yeah,
but there's so much to watch, and so much of it has to come down to what do I wanna unwind with every night,
right,
you know?
yeah,
And so it's hard to blame. I mean, I have, like, Welcome to Wrexham, Chad Powers,
uh huh,
Tires,
yeah.
Welcome to Derry, Mythic Quest, It's Always Sunny, like, I have all these different shows that to me are comforting, but aren't comforting to other people.
Yeah, yeah. Nope. Yeah, totally. So my number 2, I feel like might be your number 1, but I'm not sure. But
It probably is.
it's The Rehearsal, season
Yeah.
2? Okay, is
Yeah.
that your number 1?
It's
Okay.
my number 1, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, we talked about the show last year. It's created by Nathan Fielder, and he pushes the concept even further. Uh, and basically, the concept is kind of, you can't really even explain this show, but is rehearsing for life's moments to kind of know what to do. And he likes to play out all the scenarios. But in this season, he tackles the air industry, flight industry, and in particular, what could be done to stop crashes from happening,
Yeah.
which really was like kind of like even for him, probably didn't plan on at the same time with the shutdown, all these air traffic controllers like being, what's the word? Well, it was a shutdown, but just not
Strike?
fired. Well, not the strike, but the government shut down. There was uh,
Yeah, yeah,
so much
yeah.
with the flight.
They're grounded, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and so, anyway, it kinda came out around the same time as that was going on, so that was kinda interesting in itself, but anyway, I would say this season 2 season 1 was a little bit more like really not knowing what was real life, I would say. This season
Yeah.
2 was a little bit more, and I think not in a bad way necessarily, where, you could tell that he is like he's doing a joke here. Like,
Yeah,
he's not
he's
trying.
in on the joke.
Yeah. I mean, there's, one episode in particular, about Sully. I mean, that whole episode
Yes.
is just like he completely knows what he's doing. And so, but, I mean, just there's really no way to explain this show, and it's brilliant in the way of, even to say the word callback is not fair to what I think is a genius way of constructing his shows and how certain things pay off at the end. I mean, one of the big reveals, there's a lot of reveals in this season, but I mean, it floored me. I was like, you've got to be kidding." And
You're
so,
talking about Bring
uh,
Me to Life at all? Or
that, but I'm saying, what he did in particular to prepare, for this season, yeah, and yeah,
Yes, 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 yes,
yeah.
yes.
So, but also the willingness of people to go along with what he decided to do. It's just crazy. But, anyway, it's just, yeah, it was amazing. But once again, like in true Nathan Fielder, fashion, really didn't rehash what he does in season 1. Kinda, but, like, it's a completely different thing, and so I really hope, he continues to do this show because it's amazing.
It is, and it's one of those things where it's like I've never seen anything like it, even in season 1, and so I do think the Sully episode is maybe it's too soon to say, is, like, one of the best
Yeah.
episodes of television in history, and it's and so I don't mind spoiling it a little bit, but I remember I watched that episode, and as soon as for those who don't know, he tries to get into the life and mind of Sully, who saved who landed the plane on the Hudson. So he reads Sully's autobiography and decides he can't know Sully unless he experiences the same events as Sully. And so he dresses up in a diaper in this giant set, gets lifted up, breastfeeds out of a paper mache nipple, pretty much gags himself on the milk. And I'm watching it, and because as soon as he walks in, you know what's happening. Like you're just like,
Right, yeah, yeah.
and I don't know it like, I will always remember where I was when I first watched that episode,
Yes,
and my wife, who kind of loves them too, but she was just like, "This is so dumb," and I'm like, "I know, but there's something so genius to it," and his commitment to the bit is unrivaled, and so him going through all these moments, but then he somehow gets from there to, like, some pretty profound things.
yeah,
And to one, it's like, I would never suggest it for my in-laws, I would never suggest it for my parents, because it's just so out there.
right.
But kind of the through line for him, and as I'm watching it, I've mentioned probably before that I have a son who's autistic, and so I always have the autistic lens on, and you can never really switch that lens once you have it on. And, and then so at the beginning, or I guess it's in the middle, he decides to, get tested for autism, and it's very clearly he is. But he's just kind of, and because one of the tests they do is kind of what expression, you
Oh,
just see like illustrations of people's eyes,
yeah,
what's their expression, and he couldn't differentiate what was real and like what was
yeah,
angry, what was happy. And so at the end when he gets his results, the camera zooms in on just his eyes as he's reading the test, so we
yeah,
don't know exactly,
right,
and they don't
yeah,
sell it, and just the fact that they did not reveal it, because if he did, he could get grounded, you know, himself. It's just so it's seminal. It reminded me a lot of I put it along there with, like, Bo Burnham's Inside, where
uh-huh,
it's like
yeah,
what it transcends the medium to
yeah,
where there's something really profound, absurd, and just the balls it takes to pull that off
yeah.
is just I can't say enough about it, and so and I know you still have to do your number 1, but, I'm gonna go ahead and say your number 1 was also, The Rehearsal, so we can agree on something.
It's probably one of those that could be, like, probably flip-flopped, because they're just completely different shows entirely,
Yeah.
but my number 1 was Adolescence, which has been winning all the awards, so have you been able to watch this yet?
No,
You
I wanted to, and I would love it, I'm sure, but I just haven't had the stomach to do it. Like, I'm having enough issues with my 13 and 16-year-old
yeah,
as
yeah,
is. That
yeah.
again,
I get
to your
that.
point, I don't wanna relive that for an hour after work, you know?
Yeah,
But
oh,
yes, I will allow it.
completely. Yeah, no, completely get it. Whitney and I actually covered this season on a podcast episode and called our series "Not Caught Up." But yeah, just 4 episodes miniseries, and it basically examines a violent crime involving teenagers, told from different perspectives. But the kind of catch is, or the kind of hook is, each episode is one take, and truly like one take, and it's fascinating. How they do it, but it's really not gimmicky. I mean, it's really used in a way of telling this story, this narrative. And anyway, yeah, I think the more I dissected it on that past episode, so listen to that if you want to learn more about it. But basically, all the awards that it's winning, fully deserved.
Yeah.
So anyway, like something polar opposite from the rehearsal, for sure. But yeah, I mean, very different types of shows. Yeah, both. I mean, any day if someone like you, if the rehearsal is number one for you, I'm like, yep, I'm I'm there for it. So, but yeah, no, I think that's a good list. So I was
Good.
keeping count. So I want to give us four, because so we had the rehearsal, Pluribus, the chair company, and I'm counting Nobody Wants This because it was just me that I forgot to put it on my list. So it's kind of
You got
it's
4.
there. So yeah, yeah.
That's great.
So yeah, I had a couple of honorable mentions that I just wanted to throw out there.
Sure.
The four seasons that actually got bumped off my list because of Stumble, but it's the series created by Tina Fey and some others, and it's a mini series, but also just follows longtime couples and very much kind of a grown up drama comedy type of thing. But
Yeah.
if you're going through real life issues with your loved one, it might not be the best show to watch. But
Yeah.
anyway, also Death by Lightning, miniseries about the assassination of James
Yeah.
Garfield, which is I was surprised. That was one I just got hooked into watching. But anyway, very good. Oh, I did have Nobody Wants This listed. So anyway, and then Stick, which is on Apple, about Owen Wilson, who plays this old golf pro, kind of trying to make it through a young protege. Not the best show out there, like not a top 10, but like just from a sit down enjoy type of perspective, we really enjoyed it. And I I almost didn't mention this one, but Ruby and Jody: The Cult of Sin and Influence, which is a true crime documentary that just hooked us. Turns out, when we watched it, it was the first time we knew of this story. Since then, I've seen like every network has tackled these real life people, but anyway, it was like is something in our house that we watched quite a bit. Some shows that I had listed as good, but a little disappointed. The Studio, which we talked about a little bit. Hacks season 4, which I love Hacks. I still think it's a great show. Season 4 kind of dropped the ball in a lot of areas, but still a great show to watch. The Paper, which the Office spinoff, that
Yeah.
we've liked, but like I don't know what happened, and we haven't picked it back up again. If
Yeah,
that
that's kinda telling, isn't it? Like, our time is worth
Yeah.
something, and if it's not gonna
Yeah,
catch you.
yeah, and then I also listed, Sirens, which is on Netflix, which
Yeah.
we did finish, and it's one of those shows I feel like it could have been something, but then it also does these weird things also. But anyway, I had that listed, and I have a couple of horrible ones, but I don't know if you wanted to throw out any honorable mentions first.
Yeah, yeah. So I did have at my number 11, I had Welcome to Derry, so it's an It
Okay, yeah.
prequel, and it probably is about 2 episodes too long, but once Bill Skarsgård comes back as Pennywise, it just kinda lights up and kinda adds some interesting wrinkles to the movies, which I thought was fun. It was just there are some moments where it's like every episode there's children dying in pretty, like, violent ways, and I was
Yeah.
like, "This is some pretty big swings for that kinda show." This is a guilty pleasure. I think Shane Gillis is really funny, even if
Okay.
it's completely not again, maybe not as problematic as Brian Alvarez from The English Teacher, which made your top 10, which shows you what kind of person you are. Um, but there's this I do like irreverent I'm thirsty for irreverent comedies, and it just kinda hits some pretty terrible, funny workplace comedies of probably what it's like to work as a mechanic in a small town, and so it's funny to me, but again, I don't think it's gonna be funny for everybody, and you know what? I watched Chad Powers, and it was better than it had any right to be, I think.
we we watched it as well.
Yeah,
I'm
and
pretty
the
I'm pretty shocked it got picked up for a second season.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so which was bold to basically end the season in the middle of a game. Like, Welcome to Wrexham has always been really solid. I had Peacemaker, Righteous Gemstones, White Lotus kinda all in my honorable mention.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do have some disappointments, but I'll let you can go first if you want.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to throw out, I'm not a fan of Shane Gillis. I don't get him. I don't think
And
he's
that's
funny.
fine. And that's fine. It's one of those where I
It's
don't
not
think
it's
everything
it's not even the jokes or the politics necessarily, but it's just his delivery. And he hosted
eh
the ESPYs, recently, and
yeah, he
like,
kinda fell flat.
oh man, I don't know. I just always have a problem with hosts that, like, when they're up there and something bombs, they just
Yeah.
continually throw their writers underneath the bus.
It
And
was
yeah,
super amateur. I watched that and I'm like, "Yeah, you're just floundering."
yeah,
And
yeah,
and so with again, I'm a little bit of a sucker for workplace comedies, especially if they're a little bit kind of irreverent,
yeah,
and so,
yeah.
having a bunch of these mechanics go through, like, a legit HR meeting is just funny because you're like, "These people it's gonna be lost on these people. They're not gonna know what to
Yeah,
do."
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, um, yeah. So, okay, horrible. And you're gonna laugh at this one because, and I've talked about it on the podcast before. We watched the Bachelor franchise, so
Okay.
the franchise itself is not great. I'm never arguing that it is, but the second season of the Golden Bachelor was horrible. The guy that they picked, see, I even forgot his name, but he is the most like boring guy ever. Just from a producer standpoint, I'm like, I don't know why you picked this guy. Cause anyway, he just was horrible television, and it was just horrible television all around. And I kind of almost thought, I was like, this season might do the franchise in. It was really bad. Truly, truly bad. Just boring. Just so boring. And like and people that go on the show always have their reasons for doing it. I don't get that. But like, you could tell he had never watched it before, and then he was shocked at the end that all these women wanted marriage, and you're like, that's what this show is. So anyway, and then I wanted to kind of do a podcast episode with Whitney on this show, just because we were just like dumbfounded by it the whole time, especially because it seemed to be popular. But The Hunting Wives on Netflix, did
Yeah.
you hear about the show or watch
I've
it?
heard about it. I didn't watch it because it didn't move the needle for me, but it so many TV shows, dude. It's absurd.
Truly, it's just a horrible TV show, but also it's just low key softcore porn. I was like, this is like Showtime. This is Showtime. This is what this used to be,
Okay.
and
So The Hunting Wives. I'm gonna take a look at this and really be the judge for myself. The Hunting
right, right,
Wives. I'm about to
yeah,
watch this.
yeah. But I mean, it's just, and we slowly kept watching it just to kind of. I mean, it's like a train wreck you can't look away with, and it's just like, are they really sticking with their guns with this like plot and these characters? And they're like, "Yep, yep, sure, we sure are." So anyway, it's funny. I just now thought about this, but it also has this like low key subplot. One of the characters is going to Baylor on a basketball scholarship, and so the name Baylor is thrown out so much during the show,
Of
and I was
course.
like, oh, I'm sure the university right now is like loving this.
Well,
So
it's supposed to be East Texas, so that's so you have
right,
your
right,
ties to
yeah.
Longview.
Yeah, I know, and so I looked at that. I think they filmed everything in North Carolina,
Sure.
yeah, but it is really funny. So, but yeah, anyway, that was. But we had so many people like, oh, yeah, we're watching it, we love it, and we were just like, oh my gosh. But anyway, so and the actors in it, like we've always liked the actors a lot. Brittany Snow's in
Yeah,
it, and
yeah.
Malik
It's
Ackerman, and
Malin Ackerman, yeah.
yeah, I knew I butchered that right there, but
Malik.
yeah, but anyway, so yeah, but anyway, so there you have it. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I The Last of Us season 2 was such a drastic fall off from season 1.
Oh, okay.
There's, like,
I
2.
watched the first one, but then that's kind of
Yeah.
what I heard about the second season, so I didn't start it. So
Yeah, and I don't know what it is because, like, I liked Bella Ramsey in Game of Thrones, and I liked her in the first season, but there's just something so insufferable about her in this season. It's not her, like, I
huh.
think it's the writing.
Yeah,
Is like she may be true to the games or whatever, but it's like you need people to connect, and I knew the spoiler was gonna happen. I didn't know when. Not nearly enough Pedro Pascal, and then when he does kinda show up later on in the season, I mean, are you gonna watch it?
no, no,
Okay. So just like in the game, Pedro Pascal dies pretty early on, and he gets killed by a girl played by Caitlin Dever, who I love. She's fantastic. Um But it's just so then, like, half the season is just Bella Ramsey and and her girlfriend just kind of going into the city, and then it just kind of ends there, and then season 3 will be from Caitlin Dever's point of view, and you're just like there's just, like, it didn't feel complete, it felt like they didn't know what they were doing. The first 2 episodes are good, and then there's an episode where it's a flashback back with Pedro when their relationship was good, and it's fantastic, and it
yeah,
just kinda
yeah,
and it's so frustrating, kinda reminds me a little bit of Lost when they would be it would kinda spin its wheels, and then it would just knock out this fantastic episode, and you get more angry about it because of what the show can be
yeah,
and is just not consistently anymore. So that
yeah.
was probably the biggest disappointment for me. The only other 2 that I have lower are Yellow Jackets season 3, but I didn't really
Okay,
ever have that in the highest of regards, and then I watched Ironheart season 1, it's an MCU,
okay,
and it's fine, but it's just kinda fine, but it's also just the characters learn nothing, and you're
yeah.
just and, while I'll probably put Last of Us underneath all of those, um, just on sheer disappointment.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, there we go. A perfect list of shows you need to check out and shows to avoid for
Shows to
sure.
avoid. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But well, thanks. I'm glad we got to do this. So anyway,
always.
yeah. So I'm currently working on episodes for You Had Me at Rewind, and really excited about that. And so we will be covering the movies. I'm doing this off the top of my head. Tin Cup, Mrs. Doubtfire,
Okay.
Scream,
Yes.
Can't Hardly Wait, and Tommy Boy. So anyway, be on the lookout for those episodes. So
Oh,
yeah.
man, those are my jams growing up, so that's gonna be fun.
Yeah. So tell everyone you know about it. So, yeah, check us out on Substack at Movies Are Life, where we're posting reviews, this podcast episode, and all fun things, thoughts about Oscars, the nominations there, and all that good stuff. So, well, Mark, thanks for doing this. I don't know if it was quite, no, maybe a little over a month from the day we did the films conversation, even though that
Yes.
felt like last week. But here we go. So, anyway, but yeah, thanks for doing this.
Always, anytime.
All right, talk to you later.
Alright, see ya.